else's life. That they really, themselves, they don't need you, right? They don't need anybody. Absolutely. But because of them, so much is learned and so much grows around them.
Well said. So Rabia, coming to the same question. How's it been having the youngest do 30 tak ginti aati hai? Urdu mein? And then Aryan, and then you're a control. जो आपके पास आते हैं जिनको अभी तक आती नहीं है वैसे.
Yeah. It was so interesting while Hiba and Fawzia were sharing their children's journeys. The visual that I had in my head was, she talked about her eldest, she talked about her youngest, and it's so dynamic that mine is the middle child. And I remember that Aryan was almost 3.5, and I used to sit outside the Dorman Mall play area, and I wouldn't be crying, I would just have tears rolling down my cheeks. And they would roll down as I would look at these little girls play about. And I would, like I said, I wouldn't cry, I just have this water sprinkler on. And, Aryan would ask me, why are you crying? Are you crying? Are you crying because of the new baby? Are you crying? And I used to think, I used to have this really, deep pinching pain that usually siblings are jealous of their newborns, their new siblings. They have this thing, oh, mommy, you're not giving me time. And I remember the first 3 months were just spent being away from this child who I would see for pockets of time, because that medical need was so important for this new baby.
And your absolute attention.
And an absolute vigilant attention. कितने ml जा रहा है, कितना drop जा रहा है, कहाँ से क्या हो रहा है. And one of the things that I learned from my son at that point was that he is 10 times more compassionate than I would ever be, because he was giving me that space when he needed his mom. And that is, it gave me that opening, that breathing space. Okay, I cannot do this. I need to give her 6 hours, him 6 hours, and myself 6 hours. And I need to do this. And earlier on we were talking about time management, and it just came about so naturally. 3 children, 3 very individual behavior and characteristics and personalities. And जहाँ पे एक मुझे गले से लगाता है virtually, दूसरी वाली मुझे कहती है कि in the morning I am the best mother in the world, and when I'm coming out of a talk or a conversation, how could you gave them 1 hour of your time today too, and you're the worst mother on the world, and they should know that, ये जो आप parenting की बातें कर रही हैं. But I in keeping in retrospect Alia's journey as a parent who was really struggling with ab kya hoga, what is life going to look like for her, what is life going to look like for her siblings. There were children when Alia for the first time went to Aryan school, which was, by the way, in a cozy door. I started spreading that awareness. I started talking about differences, inclusion, disability, special needs. And उस वक्त भी 10 साल पहले there was this conversation of labels and words, and what is the right word, and what do we say, and I think it became a repetitive statement of mine. You don't need to do anything, just smile. Just smile, just smile. Don't need to do anything at all, just smile. And then came the difficult bit where Alia had her first set of surgeries, and now she was, ready to walk, and she went to school for the first time. And children came out and said to Aryan, I think he was touching 7 at that time, and he came to me and he said, I'm so lucky she's come to my school. And the very same day, ke hometown mein, he said, please never bring her to school again. And so my heart had become huge in the morning and had gotten shattered to a trillion pieces by home time because one child had told him that his sister looks like Frankenstein. One child had told him that, how can you live with a monster? And it really needed me to spine up and put my foot down, and I said, well, Arya, if you're not going to accept your sister,
then who will?
nobody will. And I think we're again in that same phase of life with Elena now. And children, if you ever see this 20 years ago or 20 years later, please don't hold me against it. Because
I don't think they will.
No, but Elena has very strong boundaries, and she's like, please do not talk about me online. If I make a video of myself, that's fine.
We all have that child.
Yeah, but so many years later, 10 years later, I'm doing the same cycle with her now, where I'm not going to have friends if she comes. But somewhere along that dynamic between the siblings is so supportive and so strong that they are able to defend each other. They're able to stand up for each other when I'm not there. So I think they pivot around me to see कि अच्छा माँ है तो ठीक है सब चलता है. But when I'm not there, I know for a fact that Elena will do anything to protect her sister. And same goes for Alia. The way she is with her siblings is because her siblings have been able to also provide her with that love and support. And there's some days I have no answers. Honestly, I don't. I don't have the answers. I don't have the reasonings, and I tell them that I'm sorry, and that's all I can say. And they're like, you don't have to be sorry. Give us an answer. And I think it's an ongoing learning process, and I want to keep growing and learning.
I think what has really stood out from what all three of you have bravely answered is that it was your choice to embrace your child fully and not be in the hiding, which might have been the case that many years ago, not anymore, alhamdulillah, for so many reasons. And thanks to you guys, the trailblazing ones, but you chose to embrace the child and present the child, and it just became a family thing. Yeah, so thank you for doing that, ladies.
Can't say it was that easy.
So, Fawzia, I'm going to first come to you. How have you taken care of your own mental health? Because I understand it's, motherhood on its own is not easy. And then having a child on the spectrum and then raising two big children as well. How have you always taken care of your own self, your mental health?
Well, I haven't always taken care of my mental health. So it's not that I was born with this awareness that you have to keep your cup full and stuff.
But did your awareness grow around mental health when your own self-awareness was growing around your child's needs?
So here I'm going to say, because of you and Rabia, our mental health has grown. Our awareness and and us taking that time to develop ourselves and fill our cups and be happy with ourselves and find space for ourselves. So I really thank you so much, both of you. Thank you to Aisha Jamal as well.
Absolutely.
Who introduced us to this concept.
She gave us the true flavor of it.
So no, I don't think, I think as women in Pakistan and women in general perhaps, we don't take care of ourselves. We are, I'm not shorten this answer.
I will be very short.
We trained from birth, I guess, to give, and to give without feeling bad and it's selfish if we want something for ourselves. And it's unfortunate that we have been nurtured in such a way, that generations before us have been nurtured in such a way. But now, with people like Rabia, talks constantly about taking care of yourself, taking time for yourself, about growing. And that's really that's where the growth will come from. If you take time and if you work on yourself, then you will be able to take care and love unconditionally. Otherwise, if you're afraid of the ends, how could you love unconditionally? Where would you find the strength? Where would you go? It's not, you can't go grocery shopping for something like this.
Absolutely.
So without mental health awareness and without you taking care of yourself, you can't take care of your family. You can't take care of your kids. You can't love them.
So then how do you take care of yourself?
I have someone who really, really loves me. I have actually many people, and I'm so blessed. And I think Hiba said this, and Rabia also said this. We were born with these people who love us. Everybody has challenges. I'm not going there, so it will seem like I have this rosy patch. But people love us so much. And I revel in that love. I take from that love. And I store it. And then when I need it, I take out from that. But my person who has allowed me time to go to yoga, to exercise, to take time out, to come here, to go for lunches with our tribe, with our circle. He's there, standing there and saying, yeah, go. He never says, nahi, aaj nahi ja sakte. So that one person.
Let's take his name.
Thank you, Joe.
Aww.
Thank you, Fawzia. So it seems like okay. It seems like you have created a safe space for yourself where you store all how do you take care of the pressures? How do you relax? How do you unwind? How does Drama Mama or the creator of MuslimKids.com, what does she do in her time out? What does she like doing for herself?
Lots of regular stuff. Right? It's very,
It is.
yeah. I think when the first part of your question was how do you take care of the pressure,
Yeah.
and for that it's a very, and I'm afraid of coming across as some like maybe someone who's about to crash, God forbid, in a few years. But I think my fundamental coping mechanism or my fundamental approach to life has always been that I tell myself a good story about myself. Right, so my narrative, जो अंदर I think दिमाग में सबके एक ticker tape चल रहा होता है यार भाई news का नहीं होता, like I feel like my ticker tape about myself and about my life is alhamdulillah by and large almost always positive. And I hope this doesn't classify as narcissistic something but labels नहीं पता मुझे exactly, but
No judgment.
Yeah.
judgment.
There's healthy narcissism.
So maybe it's that I'm not so familiar with all the things, but I think I hold myself in high self-esteem, and that self-esteem has always been like, "Acha, ye challenge, I can handle it. Acha, ye I can do it." I'm always like, I can handle it, which God forbid might crash in a few years. This jet that I am flying, but right now it's served me well. When I think of myself as competent, as capable, as able to handle whatever life throws me. Like I use this metaphor often, and it's a very popular one in my writing. Like I'm learning to sail my ship while journey. Right? I do see myself. There's choppy waters. I am the only captain of my ship. No one else is going to come rescue me. And losing your parents also at an early age helps you kind of realize you are the only captain. So I'm driving my ship. I know what my destination is. I know where I want to take my special needs kids and the financial troubles and the mental health issues and the physical health and जो भी सबके जो challenges life में होता है obviously मेरे पास भी, but I know the direction I'm going in. So that has kind of helped me just manage, right, and handle it, and I hope handle it with grace and a smile, right? In terms of what I do to relax and downtime, it's the same stuff that I think everyone does.
Dessert? Is it dessert?
Yes, I have an unhealthy sugar addiction, but I manage it with an equally healthy obsession for salads. So I eat salad and desserts in equal measure.
Oh, how can I forget all the pictures of those salads
Well,
that you used
right,
to upload?
right. I like writing. So writing is good for me. My work brings me a lot of joy. My kids bring me joy. I have 2 or 3 very close, very good friends that I see every now and then. Yeah, that's it.
So it's not from where I'm sitting and whatever I'm hearing, and I'm not going to bring the N word in, because all I could sense was positive affirmations. As a human, as a present mother, as a human, you've decided that you will send positive affirmations to yourself, and therefore you know
and it
what
might
to
not
do.
be that conscious because it's been ingrained for so long now.
It actually goes
40
on
now,
a
right?
very unconscious
So
level.
the unconscious level, I guess, I send myself good thoughts.
And it actually makes sense because I do the same. I always have a plan A, plan B, plan C. I don't get worried if something happens. Okay, this has happened. Okay, let's resolve
Ab kya
this.
karna hai, right? Yes,
Yeah.
very solution oriented.
Yeah.
Also, there's this beautiful relationship. There's this, when she was talking, we've been seeing her for so many years. There's this beautiful dance between self-reliance and so curious to know what she's about to say.
Please tell me about myself. Therapy to main karti hu, aap bata do.
Yeah, it's this resilience and self-reliance ka dance.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful.
It
How
did
is
sound,
it? Can you teach
no,
me?
it did sound like a dance. And Rabia, thank you so much for saying that, because I could actually see her dancing between the two.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, that's how our world
Yeah, I need to
works,
book a session.
psychodynamically.
No.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
Okay, so coming to you. I know, my sweetheart, how you have been taking care of your mental health for many years now, and being there present for so many parents unconditionally. I know that you've been silently running groups, talks for people. You've given your time, your
One-on-one, how she reaches
for
out to
so many people, and so selflessly she's been doing it. And
Even तारीफ ज़्यादा कर रहे हैं.
and I'm just bringing in what I know. So, but how does Rabia take a pause, breathe, and take care of her own mental health?
The pause.
The pause.
I think ज़्यादा history में नहीं जाते हैं. I think in the recent past only. I think जब लोग अपनी नई जर्नीज शुरू करते हैं या नया उनके ज़िंदगी में कोई नया स्ट्रगल आता है तो दूसरों की तरफ देखते हैं, might be at different stages in their lives and seeming so functional कि they don't realize or they don't know that you can also function with a lot of grace, right? And I think you learn as you go along. For me, for people who know me intimately, which is also people sitting on the side of the room, is that there have been these unexpected hurdles showing up at my doorstep immediately one after the other. And I think COVID was a good reminder of a very required pause for me. And जहाँ पे people were struggling and people were really, hating on COVID. For me, COVID was a blessing in disguise because I could really hold on to myself, my children, my husband, my support systems, which are my parents and my siblings, and I could say, शुक्र है सिर्फ हम हैं and और कोई भी नहीं. And even though the work went on, I mean, all of the work
and what
went
beautiful
on.
work it was, all the interviews that you did.
I think I come from a space where as a very aware individual and yet a very forced functional individual, right from my teens, I was really, I used to harp about self-care all the time. And I was, shamed for it almost all the time. For caring for myself and looking out for myself, I was shamed by my loved ones, by friends who said, dude, you indulge too much into yourself. And I think somewhere along the line that conversation of self-care really kicked in, where I knew that no, I'm saying the right thing, and I had enough courage to sort of bring it out and say, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And I think Alia's birth really gave me that buffer to just be unapologetic about it, and really, abhi 2 minutes pehle I was telling you about my sprinkler episodes. There were episodes that I would be shameless about my anger. I would be unapologetic about what I said, because I would need a break from my own thought process also. So I think being real became a big thing, knowing where to be real, where to be myself, because there's also a parameter of culture that we exist in, जहाँ पे बाकियों को वो सहूलत या वो आराम नहीं होता. And I thought that अगर मेरी आवाज़ या मुझे देख के बाकी लड़कियाँ, बाकी ख़वातीन, बाकी लड़के मर्द, not gender based at all, but if people could see and hear and just say, it's okay to be selfish, it's okay to be self-reliant, it's okay to be self-absorbed, it's okay to be functional at a moment and then let go, because control, but control is like such an interesting addiction, right? And to be able to pause is a real challenge, and to be able to teach how to pause or impart how to pause is also a bigger challenge. And I think I take out time for myself. I groom myself. I have my people talk about my skincare routine like in front of the mirror, but that is what I do. That is what I do for my own self, because I like to do things for myself. I like nice things, and at one point in time where I used to feel really upset ke सामने वाला क्या सोचेगा, but then I realized that I have the courage and the ability and the strength to camouflage into every kind of strata that I go into. So मैं किसी के साथ उनके तरह में ढल जाऊंगी, and we'll have fun like that, and I'll have fun in that. So community and social work became my reliever. Blogging became my reliever, and having a tribe where we could just be, ourselves.
That's very important. So thank you for sharing that. It was very grounding.
I think it's empowered me. I feel like I have to say it in speech. I believe motherhood empowered me because it. I talked about that idea of witness, right? You've got a ready audience of people who adore you unconditionally, right? They do. They might criticize
ready
you.
Audience? You created the audience.
No, I'm talking about my kids. I'm talking about my children. My children is my ready audience of people who generally approve of what I do. They're small. They haven't really stepped into the
you have good
snark
kids.
yet.
You have good kids.
नहीं, छोटे हैं, right? And I hope they snark और ज़्यादा tolerated नहीं होगी. But I think having those witnesses, first of all, gave me a sense of responsibility. I need to live my best life because I've got these 4 watching me. But I also feel this about motherhood is that it reveals the darkest parts of you. These children, whether it's a toddler who's up for the 7th night in a row, or the 11-year-old who's moody hormonal, or whatever, and different kids, different needs. They peel back the layers that reveal the monster in the mirror is me, right? It's not the difficult children. It's not the challenges that God has given them or God has given me. It's actually me that needs polishing, that cleaning, that getting better sort of thing. So the children have empowered me to discover a better, higher version of myself.
So Rabia, my question to you is that how does motherhood empower you as an individual on the whole?
I don't think I've reached that part of whole yet. And I also feel that I'm still a young mom who has not yet seen all the facets. Empowered, yes, in many ways, and no, because these little beings, jo bathroom ke bahar, they find that perfect opportunity to, really come outside the door and ask, "What are you doing inside?" "Beta, I'm football khel rahi hu." I think they can really, something like Hiba said earlier on, bring out the best and the most darkest part in you. But also I feel that it's a privilege to witness this this different stage of my life for myself, all the things I might have said to my mother, it's a constant reminder. I think about it and I say, how many times I packed my bag and said, "Main bhag rahi hu aaj." And how many times I foresee my own little one saying it to me, "Ghar chhod ke ja rahi hu nani nana ke ghar." I think it has also given me a beautiful side role. एक मैं हूँ राबिया, एक मैं हूँ राबिया माँ, and जब एक पीछे से आवाज आती है कहती है माँ, it's like, oh my god, now what? But it's so it really aligns my insides and my outsides. And this is that one relationship which is unforgiving and yet so fulfilling. I have no other words for it. I had a loss of words. Maybe you guys want to help me. But yeah, it's an ongoing process. I'm just leveling up.
I hear you, and that was so beautifully said that a part of me is Rabia and a part of me is Rabia the Ma, and that's how we see it, the part and the whole of a personality becoming a whole. Absolutely. So you might feel like you are not a whole right now, but from where I'm sitting, you do seem like
I might, but it is a good awakening to remember and recognize. And also pay respect to my own mother, because I do feel that there were times that I really struck a chord, really pulled her apart, and now I see how she may have become split into so many and then come together.
Yeah.
The whole that we talk about. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Can you add something to what they said about your journey of motherhood as an individual?
Is the question about empowering and the journey of the motherhood?
Whichever way you feel motherhood took you.
You said it right, it's a journey. I wish we had prep classes to become better mothers.
Maybe they're finishing school for mothers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mothers too.
जैसे हचकी होती हैं.
Absolutely.
And
Maybe that's an idea.
जैसे हचकी होती हैं, जैसे even शादी से पहले कि I would advocate शादी classes होनी चाहिए. उसी तरह से how to be a mother. I'm not even placing an adjective before that. Good. How to just be a mother.
Yeah.
I was having a conversation with my husband just yesterday. I said, I'm not a mother. And he said, no, you did it. This is my cheerleader. That's him. And I said, no, I have so many fabulous people that I see, and I don't know if I'm learning from them, but I have them around me. And they have great analytical capabilities. They can identify the triggers of their child, and they can analyze how it should be and how we should do it next time and how this and that. And I just live the moment. And I think about it later, much later. So what motherhood has given me is been a chance to round out the rough edges. I don't know if there's a perfect mother, but there's a good enough mother, and that's what I try to be every day.
Thank you. I mean, indeed, it's all about being just a good enough mother. That's what a child always needs.
Thank you so much for inviting, and I say this on behalf of Fawzia and Hiba, that thank you so much for inviting us, and Mary, who's behind.
Yes.
How do you feel empowered today, knowing there are these three handsome, tall, four handsome, tall. I mean,
मैं कुछ और पूछ रही थी पर उसने कहा नहीं छोड़ दो इन लोगों
boys behind you.
Boys behind me.
How do you feel empowered?
Actually, as a mother, my mother keeps on asking me and a lot of people, because I do have boys, ages ranging from 26 to 15, who's actually going on to 150. And my mother always says that, don't you remember how hard it was? Or if any mother asks me, oh my God, aapne kaise kiya? So, you know, the way Hiba said that I've always felt capable enough. I am the person who's the captain of the ship, and there are 4 people on the ship, and I have to deal with them, and I have to be present for them. But yeah, having said that, I used to be a very angry mother. Not a very present one, I don't know. They say that I was always very present, but I always felt that I was a very angry mother until I decided to explore and be curious with that anger, because I somehow felt that these children, they don't deserve anger from their mother. Why am I angry? And that exploration took me to where I am today, a therapist and a play therapist, and I love working with children. It brings the inner child out of me, and the best thing that I think what all of this journey of 47 years is my 4 children. My young adults and the adolescents that I'm mother of, and I'm not actually scared of expressing my anger anymore, because I feel even in that presence, they can feel that there can be a regulation. It's okay to be angry, but it's okay to be curious about it, and it's okay to be mindful as well. So, as much as I always saw it as a responsibility of raising 4 good husbands of the future, now I just be with them. And I'm very comfortable being vulnerable with them, cracking jokes with them. The other day, my eldest and I, we were having a conversation, and mashallah, he's 26. And we were just talking about something, and he's like, oh, Mama, we're not so close in age. But I think, yes, we are. I'm just 21 years older than you. He's like, no, Mama, you're older than that. No, Baba, I'm older now. But when I had you, I was 21, and for a minute, my 26-year-old who doesn't want to get married before 28, why not, and wants a spouse of an equal age, was like, oh my God, Mama, you had me when you were 21. So yeah, it has been a journey, and I wouldn't change a minute of it. Maybe I would want them to be more good about cleaning up their rooms. Yeah, that is something I would like to change. Nothing else. Everything else is good. Alhamdulillah. And I'm so thankful to Allah. And I'm so thankful for a wonderful husband who's always been the provider, and so selflessly, where I always had the agency to steer the ship whichever way I wanted to, and just take the boys in the direction. So between us, the yin and the yang, he takes care of the afterlife, the religious side of the boys, and I take care of in the here and now. So I believe we have tried two people who maybe did not come from very balanced lifestyles, did try and create some kind of balance for these 4 boys who truly deserved it. Yeah, that's how I feel about my boys.
And I think you said it so simplistically, and yet you haven't highlighted how how difficult it must have been to raise those four boys at such a young and tender age in your 20s, in your early 20s. It's not easy. I mean, in this day and age with the Gen Z, I mean, you know, I don't think anybody, any 20-year-old, until it's circumstantial or there's a situationship. I just recently.
So, how do you fill your cup?
How do I fill my cup? Whenever I feel that my cup is, whenever I feel it's getting emptied, I message you.
Aww.
You're one of those people who always selflessly shows up to fill my cup. But usually, these days, and I'm so lucky to say this, alhamdulillah, in the here and now, my cup usually is now overspilling most of the time. Thank you, ladies, for coming today, taking the time out, for all the laughter, for all the beautiful, congruent answers that you had to give, for sharing part of your stories. We're very thankful that you came.